Alright, so here I am on the casting couch, and I recently saw a reel by Paul Saladino, aka the Carnivore MD, that I would like to take a look at, because I have some thoughts on it. So without further ado, let's check out this reel by Paul Saladino.
This is the key to weight loss. Stop counting calories.
Alright, so personally, I think that counting calories is in general a good thing. I am personally a fan of counting calories just because it's how I learned how to actually diet. So, I don't know. We'll see what he says on it, but overall, I am a fan of counting calories, although there can be a couple of dark sides to it.
You've been told that counting calories and portion control with meager, nutrient-poor things like salads is the way to lose weight. That doesn't work in humans long term. This is akin to putting yourself in a calorie-restricted prison. Millions of years of evolution will eventually break you out of that prison. The way to lose weight is to become metabolically healthy. And the way you become metabolically healthy is to eliminate things like seed oils and processed sugars while eating a nutrient-rich diet of meat, organs, fruit, honey, raw dairy, and animals.
So overall, I do agree with this. However, this is a thing that a lot of people say. It's that you don't really have to count calories. You just have to eat foods that are just naturally not very calorie dense, right? So you can eat a bunch of it and not have too many calories on your plate.
Animal-based diet. That will lead to satiety and metabolic health, which will lead to weight loss. The quality of the calories in determines the calories out. Do not put yourself in a calorie-restricted prison. Portion control doesn't work. An animal-based diet of nutrient-rich foods will lead to satiety. Eat as much of that as you want.
Alright, so I think most of the issue that I have with this video is at the end where he says that portion control doesn't work. And this is where I think this video, I know, like, the main problem I have with this video kind of breaks down to him, as in he's playing the social media game, and he's doing the Instagram, TikTok kind of hooks, right? Like, you do not need to track calories, tracking calories is stupid, right? But the thing with that is that this kind of messaging is kind of damaging to the people who are just starting to enter fitness, right? Like, my issue with this is that, like, the average American, someone who's eating McDonald's 5 days a week and their snacking consists of Cheetos, Doritos, and Ruffles, right? They cannot realistically flip a switch and start eating well, as in, like, meat, fruit, honey, raw dairy, organs, like it says in the video. I do think, personally, that that is the optimal diet for humans to have. But realistically, when you are starting out, you can't immediately go over and completely 180 your diet, right? So the way you actually have to do it is by slowly easing into a diet, as opposed to flipping a switch. And so maybe it takes a year, even 2 years, if you're on the standard American diet to reach something like this diet, which I do think is achievable. But in my opinion, in that process of those 2 years, 1 year, however long it takes, you should be counting your calories. The reason this diet works is because all the foods that he eats are not very nutrient dense. So you can eat a ton of them and you won't become overweight, right? You won't gain weight because when you eat these foods, you're inherently on a calorie deficit or in maintenance, right? Because that's the whole point of this diet. But just because you aren't tracking the calories doesn't mean that the same principles of calories in, calories out don't apply. And realistically, a lot of people can't live like Paul Saladino can, right? Like, people don't have the willpower to completely stay on this kind of diet. And so they will venture off, have something like a cookie every once in a while or a bowl of ice cream. And when you do that, your portion control very much does matter. Like, you can't pretend like everyone has the capability to go on this diet. Well, I do think everyone has the capability to go on it. A lot of people don't have the discipline that they need in order to do it. And when he says that counting calories and portion control isn't the way to lose weight, that's just categorically untrue. Well, sure, if you do something like eat 20 Snickers bars in a day, technically you are still in a deficit where you'll probably gain weight. But for the average person, if you just look at the amount of calories you're taking in and have relatively good portion control, you will lose weight. Like, the only way to lose weight isn't to go on a complete carnivore meat and fruit diet. Like the way I've done it for however long I've been doing this, like over a year, is just mainly through intermittent fasting. I kind of just eat whatever I want to an extent. And while I did used to count calories a while ago, I don't anymore just because I have the ability to ballpark how much calories are in certain foods. So I do technically count it, but I'm not exact with it by any means. I do think Paul is doing some form of weight loss diet gatekeeping here just by saying that the only way you can lose weight is by not counting calories and going on a meat and fruit diet. You can obviously lose weight by doing something like going vegan, going keto, paleo, whatever. But the hidden truth is that all diets, no matter what they are just a way of portion control and limiting caloric intake on the day. Right, that's why no diet has like chips or highly processed foods, because all those have a bunch of calories in them, and all diets are just a form of limiting caloric intake. So for example, the meat and fruit diet. I think it's a really good diet to go on because all the foods that you are able to eat, meat and fruit, aren't very calorie dense. So you can pretty much eat all of them till you're full and you won't go into a surplus. Same with veganism, vegetarianism, same with paleo, although we all know veganism and vegetarianism aren't recommended if you're trying to build muscle because it's really hard to get protein, but I digress. And we also all know that highly processed foods aren't good for you, but I think you can indulge a little bit as long as you do remain in a calorie deficit. And ultimately, these are foods that you can fit in when you're on a diet. Just intermittent fast for the morning and cut out that extra meal of 600 calories for breakfast, and you can afford to indulge a bit. Losing weight, especially if you start from an unhealthy lifestyle, is hard, but it doesn't have to be as hard as you think. You can easily afford to fit whatever craving you want in as long as you are aware of the consequences of it in terms of extra calories taken in on the day. As long as you pace yourself around it and don't eat that extra 300-400 calories for lunch, you can easily afford to fit in your cravings. I think that's all I want to say on this video and Paul Saladino. Overall, I do think this is a good video and a good message, but there's just a little quirk I have with it. I do understand that this video is mainly aimed for the people that he's following, and it's mainly really polarizing, and he is playing the social media game quite a bit. I do think this advice is generally good, but I kind of just drew the line at, like, you can't count calories, because we all know that calories in, calories out does matter. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit a like on it and subscribe if you haven't yet. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you have a great day.